nation might have ruled over the northern expanse has long been lost to history, but there exists a great many small states, kingdoms, tribes and nations encountered by the galactic powers. Their kind lived in cramped squalor and warred against one another, led by petty tyrants. Despite their apparent barbarism, the petty kings possessed great hosts of ships, and during the Great Sector Wars, reports from their frontiers told of an unprecedented mobilization of ships and armies. For their first time in recorded history, gangs and factions who just months earlier had slaughtered one another now moved towards some unknown goal in unison. A reconnaissance vessel of the Hyperion corporate fleet was sent to investigate this mustering, but was lost with all hands. Before Hyperion could issue a protest the reason for its destruction and the mobilization became clear. His title was a mixture of honorifics and laurels that would have suited an ancient warlord. He was known simply as Thrakis the Great Khan. Already wrapped in mystery and legend, his heralds proclaimed that through guile, charisma, military genius and supernatural power he had won the devotion and loyalty of all the petty kings in the northern expanse. Enderium, Hyperion, and Dwarven intelligence struggled to separate the facts of his life from fiction, but one point was undeniable. The newly christened Thrakis Khanate was on the move. When the herald of the Great Khan appeared before the board of directors of Hyperion, the Enderium Senate, the kings of Rivendale, and the regi solis of Archland, he offered a simple choice: capitulate or be destroyed. Military planners within Hyperion had long since feared the unification of the northern expanse, and the border was far from undefended. Naval Station Matala was the largest and most formidable of its kind ever built by Hyperion. It bristled with heavy guns, hangars and other weapon emplacements, and was itself surrounded by a further network of other smaller outposts. With the proclamation of the Great Khan, the first corporate fleet was sent to assist Matala, creating the largest concentration of military power in the history of the Ulna. The first battle was an absolute disaster. The forces of Thrakis swept through the assembled Ulna fleet, pushing into their nations. Subsequently, Khanate battle groups broke off to attack the dwarves and the holdings of the Archland Confederacy. While they saw little success against the Confederacy, both the stations and fleets of the dwarves and Ulna had been so ravaged by the Khan's forces that they could barely hold back. While the fledgling Enderium Empire had been content to mostly ignore the conflict to resolve internal issues, a large-scale terrorist attack by the Khanate forces on the world of Victoria galvanized Enderius into action, with the Empire deploying the 8th and 6th Legions in conjunction with the 4th Fleet to begin a lightning campaign of liberation of the dwarven realm of Rivendale. While the Khan had sought only to pillage the dwarven realm, the first elven world in the path of the Khan was Ulna itself, the center of the Hyperion Corporation's industry and commerce in the region. In orbit was Merith Station, dedicated to commerce and enterprise. In place of gun batteries or military hangars were vast docking spires for trade ships, orbital habitats, and exquisite plazas where species from all across the galaxy brokered deals and traded goods. Thrakis and his raiders fell on the system in brutal fashion. They pushed through the great trade station, ransacking all they found in their wake. In orbit, the Khan's fleet commenced an orbital bombardment of Ulna, destroying many ancient buildings. The Hyperion Corporation frantically scrambled every naval and ground asset they could, dragging all Ulnarians back to their home system. More ships were arriving from both sides by the hour, but the battle for the station was lost, and Thrakis had now taken his warriors to the surface. It was at this time that the 8th and 6th Legion arrived to encircle and counterattack the Khan. The 8th Legion led a system-wide lightning assault, while the 6th performed a spearhead attack into the heart of the Horde, sieging down the capital of Ulna. Eros, the banner lord of Legion 6, engaged in combat with Thrakis, personally beating him with only the Khan's guards saving him at the last second, dragging him back to safety. The situation was quickly becoming apparent to the Khan as his armies were pushed back and fleets destroyed. He quickly ordered a retreat back into the northern expanse, securing what loot they had gathered. While Enderium forces did not pursue the escaping Khanate, they did destroy all enemy forces in the system. The Khan retreated back to his holdings, enjoying his newfound power and wealth. However, many of the petty kings and tribes soon abandoned the Khan as their vows to serve him during times of war were fulfilled. Today, the Thrakis Khanate exists as a non-state actor in the northern expanse, collecting tithes from their vassals and occasionally mediating internal disputes. Thrakis himself has long since passed into legend, but his family's power and name still holds influence over the region today.